The psychology of empaths who cut off contact with their families. Your phone lights up with the family group chat. Your shoulders rise before you read it. A missed call follows and your stomach drops. You stare at the screen and feel your jaw tighten. You already know what your voice will have to sound like. You already know how carefully you will have to choose words. You are not angry. You are bracing. Guilt is not proof you are wrong. It is often proof you were trained. Try one sentence today and watch what it triggers. I can talk tomorrow. I need rest tonight. If you get respect, there is relationship. If you get punishment, there is a role. You send that sentence. A reply arrives. After everything we have done for you, that moment is your first answer. A loving bond does not answer a small need with a debt. If you are empathic, you can sense the weather in a room. In some families, that sensitivity becomes your job. You learn to soften your tone so nobody explodes. You learn to smile so nobody sulks. You learn to explain yourself so nobody feels ashamed. You become the person who keeps everything from falling apart. Then you notice something quietly shocking. The moment you stop managing, the warmth disappears. Not because you did something terrible, because your role was providing the comfort. This is what makes it so confusing for you. You remember the good days. You remember the laughter. You remember that they are human and that they carry pain too. So you keep returning, hoping the next conversation will be different. But your body keeps keeping score. You feel tired for 2 days after a visit. Your chest feels tight driving to the house. You rehearse neutral answers in the car. Work is fine. Everything is fine. Nothing is wrong. That is not closeness. That is survival. A common misunderstanding is that stepping back means you lack empathy. Often it means you finally used your empathy on yourself. In families with long history and fixed roles, respect can feel like rebellion. If you speak up, you are told you are dramatic. If you set a boundary, you are told you are selfish. If you are quiet, you are told you are cold. The rules shift, so you never win. You are always on trial. You share good news, a promotion, a health improvement, a new plan. The response is not curiosity. It is a comment like, must be nice. Your joy shrinks in your throat. Then the topic flips back to their stress. You listen because you always listen. After the call, you feel embarrassed for feeling proud. That embarrassment is not your character. It is a learned reflex from being minimized. You say you cannot come for a holiday dinner. You offer a polite reason. The reply arrives after everything we have done for you. Your stomach drops again. Your fingers start typing a paragraph to prove you are good. This is the empath trap. You think the relationship needs more explanation. What it often needs is a new rule. When people say family is family, they often mean obligation is obligation. But safety is also safety. And you can love people without giving them unlimited access to you. It can feel extreme to step back because family contact is not just social. It is wired into identity. In many cultures and many homes, loyalty is measured by silence. The one who stays quiet is called respectful. The one who speaks is called difficult. So when you finally name your experience, the system reacts. Not always with shouting. Sometimes with a pause, a cold tone, a look that says you are a problem. Then you hear, you have changed. That sentence lands like a verdict. But change is what healing looks like. Empaths often carry a particular kind of guilt. It is the guilt of being the stable one. If you have been the peacemaker for decades, people rely on your steadiness. When you stop, it can feel like you are harming them. But the truth is simpler. You are no longer volunteering for emotional labor that was never acknowledged. There is another moment that decides whether contact will keep reopening the same wound. It is not what they say when they sound sweet. It is what arrives right after the sweetness. You get a message that starts with warmth. We love you. We miss you. Your chest loosens for a moment. Then comes the next line. So you will come this weekend. right? Or just do this one thing for me. Or I told everyone you would be there. That small pivot is the hook. Kindness first, then obligation. If you have lived this pattern, you will feel it in your body. Your breathing gets shallow again. Your mind starts searching for a way to say yes without resentment. That is not love pulling you closer. That is a role pulling you back into position. Think of the family gathering where old stories get dragged out. Something you did 20 years ago is mentioned with a laugh. Everyone smiles. You force a smile. Inside, you feel small again. You go home and lie awake, replaying it, wondering why it still hurts. It still hurts because your nervous system does not care how old the story is. It cares whether you are being respected now, or consider the caregiving pressure many people in this age group carry. A parent needs help. A sibling expects you to organize everything. You do your best. You get little appreciation. Then one day you say you cannot handle another last-minute demand. A message arrives. So, you're going to abandon us. That is emotional blackmail dressed as family duty. And it works on empaths because you feel responsible for pain. And here's the truth, in plain language. Responsibility is not the same as captivity. You can be responsible in a way that does not destroy your health. Your body is allowed to be part of the conversation, so choose something simple today, something you can actually do. Send this one-sentence boundary text. I love you, and I will not stay in conversations where I am insulted. Then choose one behavioral rule and commit to it. If an insult happens, end the call immediately and do not explain. Say one line, calmly. I will talk again when we can be respectful. Then stop. No debate. No defending. No long message afterward. If you explain, the old system turns your boundary into a discussion. If you end the call, the boundary becomes reality. You might hear, wow, listen to you, so disrespectful. Notice what that does. It tries to make your dignity the problem. But dignity is not disrespect. It is self-respect. There's a difference that changes everything. Conflict is not the enemy. Contempt is. A family can disagree and still be safe. Safety looks like, I hear you. Tell me more. I did not realize. Control looks like, you are too sensitive. You always make it about you. You are ungrateful. Those lines do not invite repair. They invite submission. If you grew up in that, you learned to submit in subtle ways. You became agreeable. You became helpful. You became the one who never asks for much. That is why stepping back feels like standing up for the first time. And standing up can feel like guilt at first, because guilt is what you were given whenever you had needs. Often, another family member enters after a boundary. An aunt texts, your mother is crying. A cousin writes, do not do this to the family. The pressure spreads because the system wants you back in position. This is not only personal, it is systemic. A family is like a small ecosystem. When one person stops playing their part, the whole balance shifts. So the group tries to restore the old balance, sometimes with sweetness, sometimes with threats, sometimes with silence. This is where your nervous system becomes your guide. When you imagine reconnecting, do you feel relief or tightness? When you imagine keeping distance, do you feel calmer or panicked? Calm might feel unfamiliar if chaos was normal in your home. But unfamiliar does not mean wrong. It means new. Now we return to the hidden grief. You are not only grieving the people, you are grieving the fantasy of the family you deserved. You are grieving the apology you kept hoping would come. You are grieving the day you would be met with warmth instead of evaluation. That hope kept you returning for years. It was not foolish. It was a childlike need for belonging. When you step back, you also loosen that hope. That is why you can feel relief and grief at the same time. Relief because your body can finally relax. Grief because you are finally accepting what is. Now return to that second moment. When the kind message arrives, do not answer the obligation. Answer the respect. You can write one line. I hear you, and I am not able to commit right now. If the response stays respectful, there is room to rebuild. If the response turns into guilt, anger, or silent punishment, you have your answer without a fight. That is how you protect your nervous system and your dignity at the same time. Sometimes the pressure comes dressed as faith or tradition. A relative says, God will not be pleased with you. Someone adds, be the bigger person you always were. Your throat tightens because holiness is being used to erase your limits. Now a final set of truths, quickly and cleanly. You are allowed to choose low contact, structured contact, or no contact. The goal is not punishment. The goal is protection and clarity. You do not need to hate your family to set a boundary. You only need to stop abandoning yourself. You step back when respect is treated as rebellion. You step back when guilt is used as a leash. You step back when your health becomes the price of belonging. Family is not defined by blood alone. It is defined by safety, consistency, and respect. If contact requires you to shrink, it is not connection. It is control. In the next video, we will talk about what happens after you step back, the loneliness, the doubt, and how to rebuild connection in a way that does not turn you into the family regulator again. If this gave you language for your experience, subscribe, not for drama, for clarity.